Welcome to today's discussion on cutting through the AI hype in workplace learning. I'm genuinely excited about this topic because I've seen AI transform learning experiences when done right.
And I'm here to pump the brakes a bit. While AI has potential, I've watched too many organizations chase shiny objects and end up with costly failures and frustrated employees.
That tension is exactly why we need this conversation. Today, we're separating AI reality from marketing fantasy.
Using real case studies and a strategic framework that can save you from expensive mistakes.
Let's tackle the elephant in the room. AI being sold as this magic solution for everything. But here's the thing. When EPAM systems implemented their AI-driven learning verification, it genuinely revolutionized their tech upskilling.
Hold on. That's exactly the problem. You just said magic solution, then immediately gave an example that worked. But EPAM had a specific problem they needed to solve. Most organizations start with, we need AI, instead of, we have this well-defined problem and AI look like a useful part of the solution.
Fair point. But that's what separates success from failure: strategic intent. Gaylor Electric using AI for multilingual safety training. They didn't chase AI, they had a real problem scaling consistent safety content across languages.
Exactly. They started with the problem, not the technology. But how many L&D leaders do you think are doing that? My experience says most are starting with the CEO wants AI, rather than our training process is broken in this specific way.
Which is why organizational readiness matters so much. The successful implementations always include robust change management and AI literacy development.
But that's my concern. Are your people actually ready for this? Do they have the skills to adopt these tools effectively? Because if they don't, you're setting yourself up for quiet resistance and eventual failure.
That's where the human-centered approach becomes critical. AI should augment human capabilities, not replace them.
I agree, but only if you can prove it's actually making people more effective, not just creating more complexity.
So how do we move beyond the hype? Because right now it feels like everyone's throwing AI at walls and hoping something sticks.
This is where having a strategic framework saves you. The Applied Workforce Solutions Navigator maps any AI initiative along two dimensions: your strategic driver and your implementation approach. It creates 4 distinct quadrants.
I like frameworks that force honesty about capabilities. Too many leaders want to jump to the most impressive-sounding quadrant without asking if their organization can actually handle that complexity.
Exactly. Most should start with efficiency accelerators, using proven AI tools to make existing processes better, like New Mexico MVD transforming partner training with AI avatars.
But even that requires rigorous analysis. You need to pinpoint exactly which bottleneck you're solving and prove the technology delivers measurable gains. Otherwise, you're just implementing tech for tech's sake.
Which brings us to the pilot philosophy, focused experiments that test core assumptions before scaling.
What does a good pilot actually look like?
One primary question, time-boxed deadline, and credible data combining what happened with why it happened. For efficiency gains, maybe, can we demonstrate 15% time reduction in 60 days without quality impact?
You better have a plan for when it doesn't work. What's your risk tolerance? Will you have data to learn from or just confusion? Because failed pilots can destroy your credibility with skeptical employees. That's why successful pilots lead to one of 3 outcomes: proceed, iterate based on learnings, or halt and save the organization from bigger failure.
Let's talk about what's actually working. The AO Foundation is using radiation-free simulation for surgical training, solving a genuine problem of how to train surgeons safely.
Great example because it shows clear problem-solution fit. But I want to know about implementation challenges. How long for surgeon buy-in? What was the learning curve?
Those are the right questions, and that's where the TASK framework becomes crucial. Train, assess, support. You can't just deploy technology, you need to ensure people can learn new skills, measure competence, and get ongoing support.
I agree, because it acknowledges technology alone isn't the solution. Does the tool actually reduce cognitive load? Does it guide users to better workflows? Or does it just create more work?
Exactly. ZoomInfo streamlined talent development with AI feedback tools, but the key was ensuring feedback actually improved performance, not just generated data.
What about failures? We only hear success stories, which creates unrealistic expectations.
The organizations that succeed plan for failure from the beginning. Small experiments, rapid learning, quick iteration. Failures happen when you try large-scale implementation without testing assumptions.
And there's the credibility cost. If your big AI initiative flops publicly, what does that do to your ability to drive future change? Start small, prove value, scale gradually.
Which requires strong leadership sponsorship, right expertise, change-ready culture, clear AI governance, and clean data. Missing any piece creates problems.
And let's be honest about trade-offs. Buy and adapt gives you speed, but less control. Build from scratch gives you perfect fit, but higher investment and longer timelines.
One thing we agree on, keeping humans central. Why does this matter so much?
Because AI augments human judgment, doesn't replace it. The best applications free people for high-value work: critical thinking, strategic advising, creative problem solving. Enerjax used AI chatbots for routine well-being check-ins, but humans handled complex coaching.
That requires clear communication about how AI will be used and what new skills people need. You can't just say, "Don't worry, it won't replace you." You need to show them how it makes their work more meaningful.
Which means investing in AI literacy across your workforce. Help people understand how to work effectively with AI tools.
And measure whether they're actually developing the capabilities you want. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it.
As we wrap up, I'm thinking about all the L&D professionals listening who feel both excited about possibilities and overwhelmed by complexity.
Right. The most important thing is having a framework for strategic thinking rather than chasing the latest AI trend.
So here's our challenge question. Given your organization's current capabilities and culture, which navigator quadrant should you realistically start in?
And what's the one critical question you need to answer before moving forward? Because if you can't articulate a specific problem and how you'll measure success, you're not ready for AI implementation. You're just ready to chase hype.
Take that to your teams, discuss with peers, and ground your AI strategy in reality, not marketing promises.
Thanks for joining us. Remember, the goal isn't to avoid AI, it's to approach it strategically.
Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep it human-centered.